Took you out of the rut where you were imprisoned in Camp Crame. I never did this before. I went out of my way to talk to people so that you can get back here in the Senate, and I guaranteed your presence here. But I'm not saying this because
Precisely
I want
you're
you
saying
to
it, Mr.
owe
President.
any favor to me. I'm just putting that on record to show the character of each one of us here. Okay, second, I'm sure that you resented my statement when we were in the cabinet, when you were presenting your supposed position as against the position of the Department of Foreign Affairs, when President Aquino invited me to attend a cabinet meeting on the Scarborough problem, and I told you, who authorized you to make a backroom negotiation with the Chinese for the Scarborough?
Yes, and the
And
President...
you were telling me about treason, remember?
Yes, and
That
the President
answered
you directly that he authorized me. He told it in your face, Mr. President.
What? Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that's correct.
I accepted that because
precisely.
I did not know that you were authorized. But the fact is that I asked you, whom did you talk to in China?
I don't need to report to the Senate President, Mr. President.
You have a duty
I
to
am not,
report what you do
obliged.
as a senator to this chamber. And in fact, you have a duty to notify the office of the Senate President when you leave this country to go abroad.
But I did
And
not.
the only time that I have authorized you is one time. I do not know how many times you have been to China. My understanding is you have been to China talking to the Chinese government for 6 times already.
Yes. And
And that you have met them 15 or 16 times. For
Yes.
what reason? We do not know. Are you becoming a fifth columnist of the Chinese in this country?
The Senate President is not privy to the backroom channel talks, and I'm not obliged in any way to
I think you
divulge.
have a duty to inform the people.
I'm not. I have already informed the people, but not the Senate President. I'm not obliged to report to the Senate President, and all this line of questioning is irrelevant again. And should this line of questioning continue, I will have to say that I will refuse to yield anymore the floor.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you a question. You went to China. You asked the ambassador of the Philippines there, Madam Brady, for a meeting, and you said, do not take notes during our conversation. And you called the Secretary of Foreign Affairs a traitor. In fact, you told me that he committed treason.
Yes, it was an executive session, and we're not supposed to
And I
divulge
will
what's
read,
happening in
you
the...
want, I will read into
What-
the record your conversation with Brady
But it's
and his
supposed
notes to the Department of Foreign
it's
Affairs.
supposed to be a confidential matter.
Yes, but there's nothing confidential.
Even in the executive meeting, cabinet meeting, in the cabinet meeting in Malacanang, Mr. President, I will refuse to answer if that's
Because
going
you
to be the
cannot
line.
answer the
No,
questions I'm
because
going
it's
to ask
going
you
to
about
be
your
improper
meeting.
in this particular interpretation.
Because you cannot answer the questions I'm going to ask you.
I can answer, but I won't be baited into that trap.
You met,
The point
you met
here is,
Brady.
Mr. President, this is
Mr.
how I
President,
felt.
may I request this gentleman
Mr. President,
to
in
be
that case,
admonished.
I will refuse to yield the floor anymore
Well,
for
in that case, I
any
will read it
interpretation.
to the record, the notes that Mrs. Brady or Ambassador Brady wrote about your conversation with her in Beijing on August 12, 2012. You want me to read
point
this?
of order, Mr. President.
You want me to read this?
A point of
What is the
order.
point of order?
The
Bicol?
Senate President may reveal sensitive information pertaining to foreign relations and national security, And I believe it is out of order in
You
this
do not teach me what
session.
the parliamentary proceedings. I'm not answerable to anybody
There
about
is a
what
point
I
of
say
order,
in this hall.
Mr. President.
The Senate President may proceed.
All right, and I have here the white paper that you've been writing about the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. August 17 2012. He cannot take the hit. He's a coward. Senator Trilannes requested that no notes be taken.
The Duterte administration so far.
Well, he is doing what he thinks is right to be done.
Okay.
Some say he is engaged in extrajudicial killing. Why
don't-
did you vote for a president in the first place? To lead, isn't it? And to lead is to, as I said
Well, but
already, to choose. And he has chosen to use the power of suppression in order to maintain order in this society. Because drug addiction, as it is in America, will destroy balance of values of this country and eventually destroy the society.
Okay. You are willing to then sacrifice
What?
human rights.
No. How about the
that is-
human rights of the people who are being,
That is the question.
who are being killed by these
Well,
people?
they're being asked also.
Oh.
Comment on the vigilante killings.
I do not know whether there are vigilantes. If
That's
there are
what they-
vigilantes, then they are subject, they are deviants.
what do you call
they are
them?
deviants and they are subject to the norms of the society. They must be punished if they're identified and charged.
Okay.
There is order now. What is
There's order?
What is government?
There's order
Yes.
now? Why are there so many
Well,
killings?
the violence is being done
Why-
to enforce the laws.
The police themselves say that
Well-
they are responsible for 1,000 of the 3,000 deaths.
You know,
and the other
you know,
2,000 deaths
Winnie,
are done.
in every society, you have lunatics, you have criminals, you have deviants, you have aberrants.
And they are the ones being killed. You think?
And the government is intended to control disruptive behavior.
Okay.
Drug addiction, drug pushing, drug commercialization is a disruptive
1,000
behavior.
people were killed already. All right. But,
But,
2,000 people
but,
were killed
but-
by not by the
But,
police. So how can you
if
say
we
there's
have to-
order?
If we have to kill 10,000 people in order to restore
Tingnan mo na.
order, you have to if you
Tingnan
are
mo na,
the
sandali
president. You have to deal with the situation in the country objectively, realistically, not what seems, but what is reality.
Okay, what
The
is reality
The
to
reality
you?
is, I was amazed that we have so much addicted people here.
Yeah.
I'm amazed of the onset or the penetration of drug addiction and drug trading in this country.
The PNP said 1.8 was the regular drug users, yung addicts. The rest of the 5 million were the users who were casual, you know. it comes in.
There
What
are
do
no
you-
such thing as casual users of drugs.
So they are all.
I'll challenge them. Maybe if you are dealing with cocaine, which is not as addicting as
Have you ever
artificial chemical.
have you ever had?
No.
You have never.
Never.
Do you think there are any similarities between Marcos and Duterte?
They have strong personalities,
Very strong. Okay.
and they are firm, and they want to be effective governors of their countries,
Okay.
of their country.
If you were willing to give unsolicited advice to President Duterte, what would you tell him, given that you were 50 years serving your country?
He is locked into a political and administrative situation where he could not retreat.
You are leaving us with a situation where you say
No.
President
Let
Duterte is locked in a political and administrative situation from which he cannot retreat.
Yeah.
But I will not tell you what it is.
Yeah.